All right, and welcome to the Photopea tutorial for the Mirror assignment. You're going to start off by opening from the computer. I'm going to select an image. In this case, it's Lewis Little, and it's going to open on up. And remember, I'm going to duplicate the background layer for safety. I'm going to take this layer and I am going to extract the subject, but instead of doing a matte, by doing remove background, I'm going to extract the subject, and it's going to ask me to do it a second time because it's kind of ugly, and that's okay. So I'm going to ask it a second time to select the subject.
The Roseville Auto Mall is Northern California's ultimate destination when looking for your next vehicle. Find the largest selection with 21 top brands. Right now is the best time to shop during our certified pre-owned sales event. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
All right. Once the ad is done, you can stop watching it. And now I've got a clean cutout of my background. So it doesn't look that way, but in order to see it, you would hit Control-C, Control-V for a new layer. I'm going to hide my bottom two layers, and there he is, nice and clean cut out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my layer. Actually, I'm just going to paste it a second time because I already have it in memory. Now I'm going to flip it upside down so that it's the mirror image. I could go to Image, Transform, Flip Vertically, but that would flip the entire picture around and all the layers. I just want to flip this one layer. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Vertically. It didn't work. Edit, Transform, Flip Vertically. There we go. Now I'm going to select that image by doing the Move tool, and I'm going to click on there and drag them around. You want to be careful to click on the image, not the transparent portion of the image. If you click on the transparent portion of the image, you actually select what's behind him. So I'm going to click on the image, and I'm going to drag him so he's a mirror image of himself. That looks pretty good, but I can do better, so I'm going to zoom in tighter. And I'm going to use the hand tool to drag the entire picture up. Don't do it with the move tool because you'll move it. You don't want to do that. I'm just moving the area where I'm looking by using the hand tool. So now I'm going to go back to the select tool, the move tool, and now I'm going to fine tune my adjustments right there. This is the reflection layer, so I'm actually going to label that as reflection layer so I don't get confused. Reflection. Reflection, and this will be my subject layer. All right. So now I'm going to actually put my reflection underneath the subject and watch what happens with the toes. It's subtle, but the toes are now of the subject are on top of the reflection, which is the way it should be. So that looks pretty good, but in order to see what it really looks like, I'm going to zoom out, and I can do that using the magnifying glass tool. It's called the zoom tool. That's brilliant. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle around. You've done this before. So it's nice and black. He's floating in space. What happened to the reflection? Well, it's because the shape layer that I created, the rectangle, is above the reflection. I'm going to move it below the reflection, and there it is. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to zoom back in now so I can see what I'm doing. Where's my hand tool? There it is. Now let's move that over. That reflection is a little bit too perfect. It looks like he's standing on a highly polished mirror. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a filter to that. I'm going to blur the reflection a bit, so make it look a little bit more like the surface is a little bit perfect. I'm going to use a Gaussian blur. You could use, oops, layer is not editable. That's because I was on the shape. I need to go to the reflection layer. Now I'm going to go to filter, and I'm going to go to blur, Gaussian blur. This one works the best right out of the box almost all the time. And in fact, the default setting of 7.2 pixels, it looks pretty good. So I'm just going to keep that. Oops, I think I lost it. Let me try that again. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, there we go. I must have clicked off to the side. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Okay. Woo. Use the hand tool to bring them up into center. It's still a little imperfect of a reflection because it's 100% reflective and no mirror is 100% reflective. So I'm going to drop that opacity down to, I don't know, right about there. Maybe a little brighter because I'm going to do some work on that. Okay, that looks looking a little bit better. And I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to make it a little darker the further it gets away from the subject by using my eraser tool. There's the eraser tool. I'm going to make sure that it is as big as it can possibly be and the hardness is at 0. And I'm going to start clipping away at it. The default setting with this opacity is at 100%. If you do that, it's going to be a sledgehammer. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Control Z and Control Z. Waiting for my Control Z to catch up. And it's not catching up. Oh, there it is. All right. So I'm going to set my opacity to 20% for fine editing. That should be good. Layer's not editable because I'm on the background. Okay, I need to be on the reflection. And I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. And that looks pretty good. Actually, it's too bright on the bottom. Here we go. There we go. So if I zoom out, that looks pretty good. It looks natural. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the black void of space. So I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to make a new layer. And that layer is going to be a gradient. And a gradient is just one color to the next. You see there's the two colors right there. That works by creating a layer and you draw a line on it saying I want it to go from this color to that color. Right there. And there it is, except now he's still floating in space. So I'm going to pull him down so that the reflection's on top, and there it actually looks like he could be on a mirrored surface of sorts. So I'm going to go ahead and save where I'm at because it's starting to get a little chunky as it moves. File save as PSD, and I'm going to call this Rev1. And it's already there because I've done this tutorial before. There it is. And just this is all you really need to do for the assignment, but what you could do if you wanted to is you could change things around. You could make the reflection radial. There's that. I'm going to move the reflection. Oops. Control Z. I don't want to do that because then it's off center in a weird way. I'm going to make it, come on, go back here to my gradient tool and I'm going to draw him like that. And there's that spotlight version as well, which you could do if you like that better. All right, don't forget File, Save as PSD. Save. Yes, it already exists. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as Rev2. No. Save this as Rev2 because that's the smart thing to do. And then I'm also going to turn this in as a JPEG file. Save. Export as JPEG. It's going to give me a full res preview to make sure that it looks good. Sure, it looks great. And there it is, the Mirror Mirror assignment in Photopea.